All right, do we get any good ones yet, Dick?
Fox and the players.
Great card.
I had this highlighted already, but the players are the ones that really won.
The players were the biggest winners. Touche, AJ. Touche. I like it. Oh man, Dick.
Dan.
We weren't on last week.
I know.
We were too busy watching Mark Wahlberg.
That was a good reason not to be on.
Yeah. The Italian Job and Shooter, right? That was last Thursday night. That's what we started with.
Yep. It started off mediocre and ended terrible.
Wow. I think you're hating on my boy. We have some problems. Merlin Goat for the win. Okay. Anyone that says anything besides Flounder? I think it's supposed to be Flounder, the voice of reason. Is that the name of the goon, Flounder? I think so.
Let me Google it.
I think so. I think it's the name of the goon, Flounder. What do you call Sapphire Bell? All right, you guys are things. So if you're showing up, if you're hanging out tonight, we're gonna start off. It's gonna be a theme of the night, right? We got what is it? What is the best card in Disney Lorcana right now? Dick, what do you think? What do you think the best card in Disney Lorcana is right now?
I think the best card in Disney Lorcana has always been Friends on the Other Side. But that's just because I live by the 10 commandments of trading card games. And commandment number 1 is draw more cards, win more games.
Okay. Well, considering they banned the card that drew the most cards, that's a pretty good commandment, I would say.
Yes. Otherwise, no matter what, I feel like it has to be a song. So it might be Strength, it might be Storm.
Okay.
It has to be the most broken mechanic in any game I've ever played, and that was the word free.
There it is. That's the answer. No, not single hopper.
That was such good timing. I'll never take it back.
I think the song thing is pretty fair. It's a good, they're pretty good. They're pretty broken. I don't know. I think a lot of them are really good. Storm is really good when we can play it on turn 2, because it basically tells the majority of the metagame that you're unplayable. So it's really hard to debate whether or not that's too powerful. I think Sapphire Coil is a pretty damn good card.
Oh, you said good. That's evil.
Yeah, okay. Okay. That's fair.
It's the opposite of a good card. If Pluto's a good boy, Sapphire Coil is a bad boy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's tough. I think that, I think Hiram was very clearly the best card in Disney Lorcana. So I think it's a nice little conversation to be had of like what is actually the best card now, because no card in the game can draw you like more than 4 cards on average, just one player. Like we can have a whole new world and we could each draw, a full hand, which is cool. But like, why do that if I could just draw all the cards myself and not give you anything?
Yeah. And then obviously the second best card in the game was Fortisphere.
No, that's
so we had to ban that as well.
Yeah, I am certainly not a believer in the this was too much draw for steel world. I don't like that comment. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's true.
I think what they meant to say was we didn't want blue steel to have good singers.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to say that.
I mean, yeah. Like, I think that you could say that Fortisphere paid the sins for Let the Storm Rage On, right? Like, that's clearly the way bigger offender in this game. All of it comes down to Let the Storm Rage On, I would say, more than anything. Like, all the way back to set 2 with Cinderella, Ballroom Sensation, right? So, like, all it ever did was adding another card that consistently does this thing and threatens Storm on 2, which basically negates, I don't know, 90% of the playable 1-drops in the game and 2-drops in the game. So Ursula 3 is really, really good. But, that you gotta untap, right? Like, we got to ready with that card in play. And Pete can't exist. I think it's tough. So we're going to be having some guests tonight. We're waiting for them to come out and hang out with us, but we're going to have a nice, fun conversation tonight. We got lots to do. The chat's already crushing it. You guys are awesome.
Yes, thank you.
I do want to say there's like a bit of a special shout out to a couple friends because we released a video today on the channel. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's about inclusivity and disabilities in trading card games. And it meant a lot to me to kind of like make that video and have fun with it. And there was definitely some defenders in the chat that went out and kind of stuck up for the little guy there. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Vin. Shout out to AJ. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. But our guest has arrived. Are we ready? We ready to bring Mr. The one, the only?
Oh, we're ready.
Boom,
Mo,
Mr. Mo.
Mo.
How are you, Mo? Player of cards. That's a good one. All right.
I didn't think anything better. Hey guys, how we doing?
Quick. How are you, sir? How you been?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a great week. I don't know how y'all are doing, but it's been a fantastic week.
As a Sapphire Emerald enjoyer that got absolutely decimated on stream by Ruby Sapphire and all of the cards that Hiram draws, I'm sure that you're excited.
Oh, yeah. I've forgotten all about Sapphire. I'm on to bigger and better things now.
Okay. Very smart. Very, very smart. Mo, welcome to the channel. It's your first time hanging out with us. For those that may not know, would you like to give yourself a formal introduction for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, my name is Mo. I have I top 8 in DLC Vegas, and I finished first in Swiss at Continentals and 5th overall. Got knocked out in top 8 by Zan Syed in a pretty fun match.
Yeah.
Going to Worlds, so that's going to be fun. And member of Team Inkfinity, who's looking forward to some collaborations with TFM in the near future.
We're going to cover it. We're going to hit it.
But yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Mo. Thank you so much for joining us tonight as we go full swing. We're going to start with it. The one, the only, Disney Lorcana TCG bans 2 cards from competitive play this past week. I believe it was Tuesday, if I remember correctly. Hiram, Flavorsham, and Fortisphere. I think we can talk about one more than the other. So let's just talk about Fortisphere to start. Okay. So Mo, you get this news. It comes out. You have some time to react to it now. It's been a few days. How do you feel? Like general reaction, just like after a few days, like how do you feel about these bans?
So looking at it analytically and being less like joyous, because I'm not typically a Sapphire player, but I know a
Sure.
lot of people are. Flaversham's a problematic card unless you're a Ruby fan. He's 1/6 body is hard to get off the board. A lot of cases he just kind of stares you down. Oh, we're talking about Fortisphere now. Sorry, but
Yeah.
Fortisphere in
You're
particular,
good. You're good.
I had to spend some time thinking on it
Mhm.
because Popsicle was obviously an easy one, but I think if Popsicle and Flaversham's gone, it kind of just knocks Ruby Sapphire a little too far down. And Fortisphere is a way to make those turn one bells less consistent
Yeah.
and be a way to attack Blue Steel specifically. Um, they got hit pretty hard. I still think the deck's fantastic. Spoiler alert for later on, but they got hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I agree. Dick, what about you? Fortisphere gone.
Yeah, I
know.
think Fortisphere was strictly for Bell.
Okay.
Right. And like people are saying, like, oh, they just didn't want to ban a new card. Yeah, I'm sure they really cared about not banning a new 20-cent common. Like that had nothing to do with it. But Bell, the fact that you don't lose a card like ever
Yeah.
in Blue Steel, because what are the odds you don't have an item that replaces itself?
Yeah.
Just nullified half of the game without like any downside whatsoever. At least, like, yeah, if your opponent is turn one Cinderella, they needed like turn one Cinderella and Song.
Mhm.
And then if it's strength, they didn't replace itself. So, like, I didn't even care if I played into a Cinderella and they strength my character,
Sure.
because at least that was a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bell was like the big problem here, obviously. Well, obvious to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and you just played Sapphire Steel with top 16 finish last weekend, 6-2 at SSG. Yeah, how many times did you go? I actually you didn't even like Bell, which I think is hilarious. You wanted to kill him the second day.
I played Bell. I played Bell on turn one matchup because my opponent was sitting next to me in a previous matchup, and I knew he was playing a very aggressive deck.
Hmm.
So I specifically mulliganed to have an item, a Bell, and 2 storms, and I felt pretty bad. Like, everyone else I did not play Bell against, or I like hardcasted it, or it was like, oh, I only have 1 item in my discard pile. Bell. Okay, Tomatella.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that we said it a little here. I think Fortisphere was only banned because of Let the Storm Rage on. Honestly, I think that you already had 2 decks that just made that card so prolific on turn 2 that they just don't want another deck that does it potentially not at the same level as Diablo, but kind of close to the same thing as a way to instantly draw cards back, because you can just put into play, draw the card, and then get it for free, where Diablo has to pitch the card, but he draws the card for free at the start of the turn. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think that it's too many decks doing kind of the exact same thing, even though it's all slightly different. And I think that if you wanted to create an identity for it, you wanted to try and at least damper that play style a little bit. That's kind of where I'm at. Is anyone really upset that Hiram got banned?
I mean, there are people that are upset.
Okay, is any of us 3 here really upset that Hiram got banned?
I was not a Hiram enjoyer. No.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mo. Tell me how great it is that Hiram is no longer a card that we have to be concerned with in deck building.
Oh my god. Okay. So I want to be analytical about this before I be just my joyous self.
Sure.
But like when you're facing down Hiram and you're coming from, say, a lower to the ground deck, and you're trying to be in those times where you excel, the early like first 3 to 4 turns of the game. Hiram is was such a disheartening thing, because you can't play your resources properly around these board wipes that are coming, around these removal they're going to throw before they bring their big questers on the board. And so there was just few times this format, playing an aggro deck that didn't involve a bunch of 4 willpower cards in the deck, that you felt like you're ever in control. And Flaversham was just like the nail in the coffin, where you can't out-resource this deck, you can't outsmart the B prep, you can't outsmart all the removal. They just have tons and tons of cards coming at you. And unless you were on Ruby, he's tricky to remove. Like Emerald has kits. Steel doesn't have one clean shot answer outside of a hot shot hand and a strength. Like, the card has been a problem ever since I returned to the game in late set 4.
Okay.
And I do know these Sapphire decks, and these Sapphire deck enjoyers, my heart does go out to them. They're going to have to adapt, but the card was too powerful, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just one of those cards that the more and more I talked about it, like before the ban, and just like really just saying like, hey, something has to change. It just became so clear that Hiram was the clear like just villain of the format because they're just the only deck that could consistently answer it was itself. Ruby has all the tools, which is great. But if Ruby is the deck with all the tools, then it's no duh that Ruby Sapphire was the most played and kind of honestly the most dominant deck. It won the majority of the large tournaments over the last 6 weeks. So I am certainly not going to miss Hiram. I know for a fact there were basically, I think, 5 out of the 6 DLCs. I played a deck that said, well, if I play against Hiram, I'm probably going to lose. So I am very happy that I no longer have to make that decision. Dick, you wrote a wonderful article today or post on the Metafy, and tell me how you feel about Hiram exactly.
Oh my God, it ruined my whole weekend in Miami. So anytime my best answer to my opponent having Hiram in their deck was for me to just draw all 4 of mine and keep playing them. So because they could banish it so easily that, well, at least if they're banishing mine, they're not playing theirs, right? I think the only games that I won against Ruby Sapphire were when like my opponents ignored my Hiram to play their own because like they thought there was parity there.
Sure.
Or where my opponents just absolutely bricked. Like I did not outskill a single one of my Ruby Sapphire opponents because there was just no skill level of anything. Just like play my Hiram, I'll play CC. Yeah, like it was just insane. And then every time I wanted to banish a Hiram, I had to 2-for-1 myself. I had to go Baboom plus Strength, Strength plus Storm plus Zeus. Just they could never ever do anything. I could not believe I made top 16 in this tournament. I would have never played Blue Steel again in this format because I felt like a child, like wrestling with his dad. It's like sometimes, you move just right and you win once, right? And that's how it felt playing against Ruby Sapphire. So it was miserable, and I'm happy. I'm happy it's over. It feels like a fever dream now.
You're safe now.
Yeah, we're all okay. We've all Mark safe, right? Mark safe from Hiram Band,
Oh God.
I would like to talk about in the Ruby Sapphire mirror, which is honestly the most fun I had playing Ruby Sapphire. All the other matches were one-sided one way or the other.
Sure.
But during my my red-blue era, I really did enjoy the mirror, but the worst thing about it was being in all these best of 3 format tournaments and losing the dice roll and seeing a Flaversham on the opponent's side of the field. And it's just such a tempo loss to not establish that 4-cost character that's capable of singing or doing stuff. Like if you have to brawl on your turn 3, it just felt so bad compared to them just playing Flaversham and getting the 2 cards already. Put a lot of power into the dice roll, and I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah.
And if you just Flaversham in response, then they get the quest first.
Yeah.
And then they can remove yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of it was good. None of it's like the Hiram. It's funny, like all of set 6, we made jokes about the Genie Wars, like it was all of it. It was a whole conversation like, oh, how many times we're going to Genie? And we lived in a Hiram world for much longer than set 7. It just became clear that in set 7, it was beyond oppressive compared to everything else. But the good news is we're done. We're past it. But I'd like to, we did have a topic, Mo, if you missed the beginning here, right? We're gonna get into it, but it's, for all our new viewers coming in late, hanging out with us. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. The question of the day is, what is the best card in Disney Lorcana right now? So Mo, for you, what's the best card in Disney Lorcana right now?
Real talk, it's hard to not argue for the bird. I'm not dooming. I don't think Green Steel is going to be like huge. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
a fantastic deck, and it will be a problem. But there's, you know, um, I think you just can't argue that Diablo isn't the next one up,
Sure.
in my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, we, with the theme of today is kind of like discussing what are the biggest winners of the format. Obviously, Diablo feels like a gigantic win, but it also is one of those like, hey, if we know Diablo is the problem, we have lots of ways to interact with Diablo. Unlike Hiram, like we didn't have any, there just wasn't ways to interact with Hiram, right? So I
Not
can live in a
well.
world where Diablo is good, and I can be like, okay, like I gotta navigate that, play that way. So I just put like kind of like a starter conversation here of just like, what got better to me. Diablo got better, Doc certainly got better, and Ariel certainly got better, but these are not the only cards. So maybe not what is the best card, but like what cards are you looking forward to putting on the table now moving forward, Dick?
Fox. If there's less bells, I can justify paying 3 for something that has 3 willpower. So we could just name every card like crabs, like all kinds of stuff. It's like even snakes. It was frustrating, just trading into a bell.
Yeah.
And then everything that costs 1 with 3 willpower has less than 3 with 3 strength has less than 3 willpower.
Mm-hmm.
So those could just get stormed.
Yeah.
Sure. So I think another big winner is things that just automatically got eaten by bell. If we're going to see some amount of less bells,
which is possible, right? Obviously Sapphire Steel did take 2 hits, and it's definitely a big 2 hits. But like Mo said it earlier, I don't think that deck is done by any means.
Right. I
still think it has, honestly, a fair amount of consistency. I think that it still has a lot of power. I still think it does things that are pretty unfair. So while it got 2 hits, it might just have been like, hey, like we can actually just like play a more fair game, as opposed to where before we were just doing everything completely unfair. So, I don't know. We'll see. What about you, Mo?
Shout out to Helga Love real quick.
No, Helga is a card that I've always
I know
loved.
2 really smart people that spoiled that card.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway,
At least one of them, they're really smart.
That's true.
So Mo, what about you? What are we excited to play now? Right? What are we kind of just what are we sinking into?
I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm rather well known for playing a certain kind of deck, and I'm really excited to play some rabbits on people again and play some nasty green cards while I'm at it.
Okay.
But
I will quote from your tweet. The saddest part about Hiram being banned is that you can no longer go for win. Like I
am gonna miss that. We're gonna lose like that's 6 willpower in nearly every matchup you play this format. Oh god.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I don't know. I'm just really excited to see where things go. There's some obvious front runners, like Songs is gonna jump like really high up. I think we're gonna see. It's gonna look a lot like last meta did with. Theoretically, Ruby Sapphire toned down and split some of its love with Blue Steel because both decks are still very powerful. Yeah. But I'm excited to be able to play decks that have the Dies to Medusa list of cards. So like, there's just tons of archetypes that are just invalidated because there's a deck with infinite removal and infinite draw that can just. But there's some really cute decks and some really fun ones. That I think got some life here. Just look at all of like the blue 4 willpower cards, that like the hero cards, or the puppies if you want to be more fun.
Sure.
But things just got more exciting, I think, because the decks can at least be played around a little bit better now.
Yeah. What I think is most interesting, and I was in a coaching session before we started tonight, and what I said to my student was, when this happened, when Bucky got errataed, it was really just 1,000 players that cared for one day, right? Like, because Toronto was the only day that we cared about the format that we quoted was like 4.1 or like 5, whatever it was. I think it was 4.1. So now we live in a world of 7.1, and it's kind of a reset button back to the release of Arceus Island, because now it's not just for one day. Like, we're now we got tournaments coming up, we have set championships coming up, and this is kind of a big hit that's going to affect, it already affects set 8, like what people don't actually consider is that there is a world, like, listen, when they were playtesting this game, they were playtesting it with Hiram forever. They didn't go in saying, oh, we're going to ban Hiram in set 7. If that were true, it would have been banned before the set was released. So now moving forward, there's a lot that really, I think, just opens up for cards. Like Helga was kind of brought up earlier, but Helga is a card that I think wasn't good enough in a world because you didn't need her. But if you tell me that, Emerald Amethyst is going to be running around with nothing but crazy amounts of evasives, if Emerald Amber is back and they have like their Diablo lines and stuff like that, and obviously if Emerald Steel is back, Helga all of a sudden looks like a card that probably never really got played ever when Hiram existed. But I mean, a 2-cost 0/4 against a format like with 2/2s and like 3/3s with Cove, I think she's a card that actually looks really, really good. And it's interesting because all of a sudden you really do have to kind of go back. And I do agree with you, Mo, that I think this week, maybe next week, you're going to see a lot of just set 6 metagame, right? Like we're going to see a lot of that, but give it a few weeks. Let's let people cook. Let's let people adapt to what it turns into. And I'm very curious to see, what set 7 cards actually come out of nowhere, because it's very clearly dominated by Sapphire cards, and it had been. Now all of those Sapphire cards kind of took a hit. Sapphire Coil isn't as free. Tamatoa, obviously, it can get back Popsicle still, and we've still already seen decks that were just strictly playing him for Popsicles. Belle loses one of her key tools. Technically, Scrooge also lost a key tool by losing Fortisphere. So, I think that opening up for so long, we were just stuck on those Sapphire cards, and those were, it's difficult because I think that you're talking about 200 more cards in a set. It's possible that any one of those can really just kind of, I don't know, get some light of day. That's what I'm most excited about, in all honesty.
It is really fascinating, including ways that I think the Sapphire decks can adapt and change. Stuff like Workshop instantly got tossed up as ideas, but of course that's less consistent in Blue Steel now. But there are red-blue like item heavy decks that I was a big fan of.
Yeah, I mean that deck won a DLC.
Like I think there's definitely some underrated cards that have gone, mostly unnoticed this set. We talked about Helga, but I'm also a big fan of the red-blue Belle in some things. It's a little bit more exciting, I suppose, but
he's gigantic.
Just these certain cards, these certain lines were just better, and so there wasn't a lot of room for creativity at a certain point. We were seeing like 7 out of the 8 top cut decks be Sapphire, 50% of the cards shared among all of them, and I'm really excited to see how things move on from here.
Any last additions here, Dick, before we move on?
Yeah, so I went to locals last night and I just grabbed, I didn't have anything built that didn't have set, Hiram in it. So I just grabbed my Amber Steel deck from ICL from set 6, and I was crushing people. And I think this was also a big win for a huge amount of people who still couldn't get product this set.
Sure.
They kind of lucked out. Because now all of a sudden their set 6 deck is just fine. Yeah,
I think that will be true for a little bit. I think it is one of those. It's so easy just to go back and say, listen, I'm the biggest Amethyst Steel fan out there, and I had been telling people for weeks I didn't think the deck was literally playable because you just couldn't beat Belle, you couldn't beat Hiram, too many things that just didn't feel good enough if your opponent drew right and you didn't. All of a sudden Hiram's gone. I'm like, okay, game on. We're back. I think I tweeted out today, Amethyst Steel deck is life, because it is. So I'm very excited to definitely get Doc back in the party and have those fun. I think that deck is going to be great. I think the best part is that I think in any given week, the next 2 weeks, we're going to see a lot of decks that come out, and a lot of decks that look great, a lot of decks look potential. I think the variety just goes up tenfold. And I think that in itself is exciting, because otherwise we were going to go into set championships where if you're not playing Ruby Sapphire, you're probably not trying, and that's not a great feeling either. So thankfully we get to avoid that. And I do think we get to avoid it at the cost of saying hey, this isn't the only deck to play. Like, I definitely think that Ruby Sapphire is going to be fine. I just think it's not going to beat you with 10 cards in this hand.
Yeah.
Diablo is a little kid who gets everyone else in trouble. Bucky was banned because of mischief, and PJ could be next. I don't know. PJ's pretty unfair. I mean, Ward is just good, right? Like, it's just that simple. There's not enough cards. I did think it was funny. We were talking about, were you guys paying attention to the chatathon of questions to Steve Warner? And
no.
he just like, okay. So like he kept hinting at the whole time that like there's these magical answers to PJ, and like, one of them is Triton's Decree, I guess. The other is, I don't even remember what set this Anna is from, but she's like the 3-cost uninkable 1/4 that when you play her, your opponent chooses a card to exert.
Yeah.
If PJ's the only one, maybe we get it. I don't know, but like, I don't know what cards we're talking about. PJ's pretty good, guys.
Using Ward in a different concept than a lot of people did got me a Worlds invite. So
yeah. That's great.
I lost a game last night to Prince Philip, to someone who I've never lost a game to, and I was like, Mo.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for being super active today. You guys are awesome. Shout out to the new follower, Triple B1988. Thank you. I've actually finally, Dick, I figured it out. I figured out a way to like actually monitor this over here now.
That's good.
It's a secret that I figured out. I'm so excited. But yeah, shout out to everyone hanging out with us on Twitch, on YouTube. You guys are super active. Already seeing Facebook like, so thank you guys there too. Of course, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button. But we're about to talk about something fun, Mo. All right, I get to come and I get to meet you in person, live and in color, and we get to talk about this incredible playmat for a second here. This is the Lucky Llama, the Lorcana SmackDown champion. Can you tell me anything about this llama before we go any further? Like, this guy is a beefcake.
That is a beautiful llama. This is actually my first time seeing this playmat.
Oh, okay.
And the grand prize for this event. I love it so much. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So the Lucky Llama, for those that are unaware, is an event that's occurring right around the corner from Mr. Mo down here in Arkansas, in Fort Smith, Arkansas. It's a 3K tournament. I'll bring it up here in a second. The top prize is a PSA 10 Elsa, Spirit of Winter, and second place is a PSA 10 Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. So pretty good top end prizes for there. The original listing for this was 128 player cap. They threw that out the window. They moved the cap to 400 players. That's crazy. But Mo, you live there. You're in this community. What's special about this? What do we have to say about like Lucky Llama and Sharp Gaming here? What's our pitch here? What do we love?
All right. So let me give you all a spiel. So Sharps is about an hour and a half south of me. I'm up a little bit over, but I come down there to visit them all the time. But just in our area, Northwest Arkansas, we have. So I'll use my locals for an example. Mm-hmm. We have like 6 people there any given day on like a weekday, like a locals. And one of them is potentially me. The other one has got 22nd at nationals and has a let it go. We have 3 Rapunzels in our area. We have just like a ton of prize card winners. So the area that everyone is coming down to is highly competitive for it. You're going to get some like great quality games. It's going to feel like later, like winning in rounds of DLCs or even day 2 rounds. It's going to be a blast. But second, I really just want to call out Sharp, Philip, Lexi, that whole crew. They put so much love into their store, into what they do, because they just love what they do. Yeah. And you can tell when you go there. It's fantastic. A little backstory about myself is I used to be a Yu-Gi-Oh gamer, and back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, card shops were a lot different of a situation, and you go into one with some certain expectations, and nowadays you don't see that. You just see like beautiful, like open, well ventilated, where like just lovely places. And yeah, I'm so excited to be having this tier of a tournament in the neck of the woods.
Yeah, I think it's great. I spent about a half hour yesterday having conversation about the tournament and kind of getting the you know the all the details that we needed to make sure we were gonna be able to like really kick this tournament's ass, right? And I think that's what I'm most excited about. Well, what just happened here? I went away. There they are. Oh, here we go. Hold on. So yeah, so as you can guys see here, we have 17, right? We got to bump those numbers up. Like I was told that you guys got this big area. You guys got people coming from all over, but no one's pre-registering. So what I was told is that if we pre-register before the 16th of April, you're also going to get a pack for free for entry as like kind of a thank you for saying, hey, we're coming, we're going to show up. I'm pretty confident this is a scalable tournament. So this tournament, if 400 people get in this building, the prizes are probably going to go to the moon. That's that's kind of where I'm at. So you might see, this initial and say, okay, we can only get, a PSA 10 Elsa and some PSA 10 Cinderella. It also varies in other enchantments, and then the winner and runner-up playmats, which we did just showcase. I think that if we're able to fill this room and we're able to get 200 plus players, that this event is going to be absolutely out of this world phenomenal, and everyone there is going to be excited to be there. I've also been told that they're going to run some side events, like some win-a-boxes or win an enchanted, something like that is on the kind of the marquee for in case, listen, we all can't win. We all can't start out 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. So those that can't, they're going to have something to do. So yeah, I am super excited about this. I think that it's awesome for you guys. As you said, bunch of players that don't get enough recognition, don't get enough love. I can say flying to it is difficult. You guys are kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's a little bit pricey, but if you're within driving range, and this connects to like Oklahoma, it connects to Texas, like there's definitely a drivable story there that this is probably worth going to. Especially in any world where we start talking about these numbers going up, and all of a sudden this turns into 5,000 in prizes, 6,000 in prizes. Like that can definitely happen if people are going to show up and play and participate. So that's a big deal. So that's kind of why we're hyping this up. We're kind of hyping this whole platform because, these guys, God damn it, this thing is not being nice. We got, we have Lucky Gaming, Lucky Llama. We got Sharp Gaming. We got Team Infinity in the house with, if those of you are unaware, that's Mo. He's down there. He's Team Infinity. And of course, we got the wonderful JDZ Quest also coming in, hanging out with us that weekend. So me and JDZ Quest are going to be coming down. We're also sharing the time with Mandy, right? Mandy's going to be doing interviews. JDZ and I are going to be doing commentating. We're going to put on a whole show for everyone. It's going to be an absolute blast. And we really just want to get the word out there, get the information out there, let people know that this event, Sharp Gaming, Lucky Llama, they're looking to kill it. All right. They want this to be a reoccurring event. They want people to know, hey, we're in the business. We want to be like SSG. We want to be like CCS. Like they're trying to create this for this area. And the only way it can be successful is if players come out and participate. That's a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
100%. The good news is,
notable thing about Arkansas,
go for it.
Hotels and Airbnbs, they don't quite cost as much as California and South Florida. Just throwing it out there.
That's fair.
I can attest. South Florida, awful. Insane how expensive.
I didn't think it was that bad.
What I pay in a month, when I go to Orlando, I go for a month. Yeah. It's cheaper to go to Orlando for a month than it was for us for the weekend.
That's because they want you to be in Orlando for a month to do all the Disney stuff.
No, in an Airbnb.
Yeah, it's still the same though. Like they want you to be close. Like they don't care about that. Well, I guess Airbnbs don't care about Disney.
Yeah, Airbnb doesn't care about that.
Maybe it's just too much competition.
Right. Airbnb, you need somewhere that's either in the middle of nowhere, so they are lowering the prices to get people in, or somewhere where there's millions of hotels.
Yeah.
Well, not millions, but know.
Yeah, I will say the Airbnb did seem pretty cheap. P.S. If people are going and they need somewhere to stay, we have room. So yeah, I think it's great. It's a shame that Fort Smith seems to be so expensive to fly into. So that's definitely like a downer. So it's one of those, like, if you're gonna get together with a bunch of people, go on a road trip, this is probably like the greatest thing ever. Dick Burns wants to do it, but it's too long. It's too far of a drive, Dick. It's too much.
Yeah, I'm good for like 3 miles. If anyone from North Carolina wants to drive me, I will go with you.
There you go.
I'll coach you on the way.
We'll get James in the car. James can drive the whole way, and you guys can come hang out.
James would never.
James would never. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. And honestly, the best part about it is that is 3 weeks from this weekend, right? So we're going to have 2 weeks of developing metagame. Obviously, next week is Easter, so we don't know how much is going to happen during Easter weekend. It might be a big down weekend for some. We'll see. I don't know too many tournaments that are going on next weekend. But this weekend, a couple big events coming out. I'm sure there'll be stuff that pops up. Not everyone cares about Easter, let's be honest, or they forget that it's even like a holiday. So we're going to have 2 full weeks of metagame development. And then this week is going to come out. It's going to be the week before set champs. So this tournament's a big deal because it's going to set a lot of precedent for set championships, and for those opening weekends for this new metagame that we're talking about. And I think that that's the most exciting. And you're sitting here telling me like, hey, we got guys that, people don't know, they're not aware of, but they're winning Rapunzels, they're winning Let It Goes, they're queuing for Continentals. They're gonna bring the spice, right? Like they're gonna bring it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. And huge shout out to honestly Shark Gaming, Lucky Llama for even giving this a chance. I think that's a big. It's like you said. You said that they love this. I was told they have locals 3 nights a week. All right, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They got 15 to 20 people in there all of those nights playing Disney Lorcana. That's a pretty strong local if you can get people in 3 nights a week. So that's pretty great.
It's worth it for me to drive down some days. And it's just nice to see everybody. Got a lot of friends there.
Yeah, I think on a Friday night, like the 90-minute drive doesn't sound as awful. Like on a Monday night, probably not as good.
Not ready for it on Monday,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting. I think it's great. I don't know about you, Mo, but I like Enchanted prizing, especially to this extent. I mean, we were looking it up last night on JDZ stream. The Enchanted PSA 10 Elsa is like anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000. Like, that's not nothing. That's a nice prize. And the coolest thing about when you win a prize like that is that you get a picture with it, right? Like you're like, oh, I won this. Like you can see that I won this thing. Normally when you win cash, you're just like, I won some cash. Like it's cool because cash is king. But taking a picture with cash it's not the same. You can always take a picture with cash, no matter what, right? So what's your feeling on that? Like between like cash versus prizing of like this type of monetary value?
So not to intimidate anyone, but there are very few expensive cards in the game of Lorcana that I don't currently own. I've kept most of my prizing so far just because like selling's a headache. But I don't have a set one Elsa, and I want that really bad. But I'm a big fan of both, really. Like I think it's a healthy world for either. But I do like getting like something like this with some like prestige behind it as a prize. It reminds me a little bit of DLCs. Yeah. Like you just got to keep your eye on the prize, keep your eye on that Mickey, and it works out from there.
Yeah, the good news is that there will be no splits that day. You guys can't rip the Elsa in half. Not a thing.
I rip money in half all the time.
What about you, Dick? Do you prefer cash over prizing? Where are you at?
No, I'd rather have the prizing. I feel like I can make more than whatever the cash is on it in some way. Whether, especially now having a store, like I could just use whatever I win as prizing in my store, right? And then if I win booster boxes, like a booster box to the average person is worth like $100, but to me it's worth $118 if I sell it as a whole box, or $130 something if I sell it at $5.50 a pack.
Yeah.
So when is set champs, by the way? Someone asked. I don't know.
May. It's the first weekend in May. It's every weekend in May. I missed
And the reason that you don't have an enchanted Elsa is because Melissa's hoarding them all.
Oh, good to know.
She might have half of them in existence.
That's definitely not true, but yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's a sweet prize. I really do. And even the Cinderella is a pretty sweet prize in itself. Like either one of those, you get in the finals, it's too hard to be upset winning either one of those prizes.
Yeah,
Like
I do.
one's worth
I do like to be able to split though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's because you don't like playing.
That's true. That's when the cash comes out of my pocket.
Too
I'm
funny.
such a sucker for splits. I have to have someone there to do the math for me and be like, is it worth it or not?
I'm willing.
It's a time thing, right? So that's the value of it all.
Yeah.
When we walked in SSG on Sunday, there was like 10 people, and it
Mhm.
was guaranteed pricing. And I said, "Does everyone just want to split?" But then some more people came in.
Yeah, it would have been kind of funny if there's 10 of us were like, yeah, we'll just each get $100. This is
Yeah.
great. That's funny. So why I have you here, Mo? Why don't you tell me about Team Infinity? You know, you guys are a little new to the club here. So talk to me, give me some deets about Team Infinity. Let me know.
Oh, absolutely. So this has been a little passion project of not only myself, but my wife, some of our closest friends. Like we formed this bond when getting ready for Continentals this year, and we just spent so much time together practicing and just playing the game in a more analytical way than just jamming games. And we decided, sometimes more is better. Bringing different minds is better. And we're blessed with a very talented community for such a small community that we have here, Northwest Arkansas and Fort Smith. Fort Smith's a little bit bigger than we are here, but we just really want a chance to kind of not only show the rest of the Lorcana community what we can do, but also just bring to life some of these personalities. If y'all haven't met Cody, he's a delight. He's the guy that put the Dr. Pepper on my Mickey. That's how people know him. But
Gotcha.
just an absolute lovely human. But just like straight down the roster, we just have people with different talents in different areas. And more so than that, we really want to find a way to bring Disney Lorcana content to a more casual audience, as well as keep them competitive. But I feel like there needs to be a bridge right now between someone just on YouTube clicking through Disney things because they're interested or they see the game in Walmart, and just something like cutesy, but also like, ooh, this looks fun. I want to learn, and just kind of be like the gateway drug into this wonderful, beautiful game we have to us here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I agree. For me, there's opportunity for all types of content. Like I say this all the time. If ever I wake up in the morning and I go to YouTube and I hit the subscription feed and there's not a new video, it means there's not enough content creators out there. So, welcoming content is phenomenal. Getting people in the door because, I know for me and a lot of the conversations that I have with store owners, it's not common for people to just walk in a store anymore. Like it's not common to just have a new player show up and learn Disney Lorcana because people just aren't looking to do that. But in a world with Disney and with that IP, I think that there is an opportunity cost there. Like there is something that says like, hey, this is Disney and you might like this. And it might be something that you never even thought that you would like. And I think that for what it's worth, that might be 50% of our player base. So yeah, I love it. I love the idea of trying to just capture that and trying to get some new eyes on the game. I think it's great. I think it's perfect.
Yeah. We're, a lot of it work in progress. Things take a lot longer to move than you would think, just planning stuff out. But we got some downtime right now. I don't know. There's not any big events on the horizon. So
it's true. We're close to boredom. But hey, it's all right. They kept us on our toes by banning Hiram. It's fine.
Keeping it spicy. Can you imagine if they did that the week before DLC was about to drop? Oh my!
It would have been certainly worse for sure.
A huge thing that I saw that I addressed because I just couldn't believe it was the amount of people that said, why would they do this when there's no events? It's like, what, you want it to happen like Friday night and you just flew to God knows where? Like, what are you talking about? This is the best time to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
champs aren't even here. Of course they're not here. We don't even want to do it for those.
It's insane.
This
I was
is a
about to click on
content
that.
creator. I gotta. Okay, I always love these questions. Can you make a video about how to do the technical part of creating content or recommend a resource? Certainly, that's a good one. I'll cover that more later tonight. I don't want to break up too much. So, Mo, I don't want to take up any more of your time. If you want to get out of here, we're gonna get in some other stuff. But I wanted to thank you for coming and hanging out with us, talking about that initial ban, letting people hear your side, right? I've been told that you're not necessarily someone that likes to be found on social media, but I'm gonna say, hey, like if you want to pitch your socials and let people know where to find you guys, this is it. This is your time to shine.
So I'm that Mo kid on, I guess, Twitter. I need to move to Blue Sky. I'm just lazy. I just make sassy tweets occasionally. I don't do a whole lot. I'm on Medify. I have a pretty active community there, and not everything you have to pay for. So sometimes it's just nice to drop in, join the Discord. You know, I may be slow to answer questions, but I'm always happy to do so. So if you need a world qualified question mule, I'm here for it. It just might take me like 24-hour period to get to.
Love it. I was told if I wanted to ask you anything, to ask Mandy first.
Fastest way to get to me, send a question to Mandy, and I'm like, oh hey, yeah, of course.
Literally what she told me. She's like, yeah, if you need to just message me first. I'm like, you got it, Mandy.
100%.
Yeah, before you go, appreciate you being on here. I didn't know until a couple hours ago when Dan told me that you were going to be on here. So pleasant surprise. I saw you in top 8 of Vegas, and I was watching your game, and I was just like, yeah, this guy passes the vibe check. I went over to your wife and said congratulations when you won. And then, you know, I just saw you at CCS.
Yeah.
Like we were passing. Oh, Mo, what's up?
Yeah. It's my favorite part all weekend was talking to you, just so you know.
Oh, no, I was gloating about talking to you. I literally messaged the team and I was like, Mo is such a genuine guy.
We were talking about it at Star City during the Mark Wahlberg movie, whatever one it was. We were talking about this.
Yeah, because it's hard to find people like that. So I appreciate you.
Yeah. Adding more people to get excited about to see when DLCs, you know, maybe when they come back, who knows? Always a factor.
2030.
Always a plus. 2030, yeah. But I'm 100%. I'm so excited. I booked my flight this morning. I'm coming in on Thursday, so I'll be there all day Friday and all day Saturday hanging out. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited to meet you guys in person, shake some hands, have some fun. Maybe we go to dinner. Hey, I'm just saying, stuff we can do. We can have some fun. All right. But yeah. So thank you so much, Mo. Thank you, Mandy. I think she's been hanging out and chat with us as well. So she's the best. Oh, she's hanging out over there. She's hiding. She's hiding. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And again, thank you so much for coming on tonight, shedding some light. Can't wait for it to happen. And I will see you in a few weeks.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I love it. Love you guys. Peace.
See ya. Oh, all right, Dick. It's been fun. Mo's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. I remember when I was commentating over his tournament, I think it was against Federico, the game he played. And it was just like one of those where all I wanted was for Ink Geyser to just be awesome. And it just wasn't that day. So it was nice to catch up. I'm really excited to go down there and kind of just be a part of it. And he was not. Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you. So yeah, we're going to be, you know, we got some other topics to hit, right? We got some other fun things to do, but I have an official announcement. Okay. Are you ready for it, Dick? You don't even know about this yet.
It's true. I don't know.
For the
about
first time in a long time, you will not be joining me at the encounter to do commentary.
I know.
So I had to replace you.
You mean upgrade me? I'm assuming.
Well, I had to replace you for sure. I had to replace my own self. So here we are. We got the encounter on Saturday, and I am so very excited. We reached out in the community, and we got some big name players hanging out on TFM on Saturday, on Twitch, on YouTube. We got the one, the only, the lovable JDZ Quest. He's going to be hanging out. We got Gabe from the Illuminati, also from the voice of Southside Gaming. We got the Color Slaw. I tried so hard not to mess her name up. I told her earlier that we were going to be in trouble and I was going to call her the wrong name all day because every time I read it, all I read is Corsola, like the Pokemon. But we did it. I think we got it right. I think we nailed it.
No, it's clearly Color Ice Law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Corsola. Yeah.
she's great.
And then he's hanging out, Mr. Sisu. He's coming. Freedom Gaming in the house is going to be fun.
The worst of the bunch, but
the worst of the bunch. No, that's Hayes. Hayes is the worst of the bunch. But yeah, so super excited. We're gonna have some voices on. They're gonna be kind of just communicating the whole day. What I had realized in the last encounter is that I wear too many hats when we're there in Allentown, and I felt like I did a terrible job opening weekend because I was playing judge, I was playing like just event, making sure everything's going right. And I didn't feel like I was into it. I felt like I was doing a disservice to kind of the viewers. So I said, you know what? I don't want to do this again. I want to put people in position that can sit, watch the games, not care about what's going on in the room. And then, I went in. We've joined it. We've built a really fun community with the ICL. Shout out to everyone in the ICL and everything they're doing. And there was a caster chat. And last weekend, JDZ, we were down in SSG, but JDZ came in and said, "Hey, who wants to help me cast this event?" And I thought that was great. I thought it was an awesome way to get people more reps. A lot of people really enjoy doing it. I think it's a lot of fun. So I was like, you know what, JDZ, touche to you. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to go with it. And honestly, I had more than 4 people message me, but I didn't want it to get too crowded. I didn't want to get too crazy. So those are the 4 that we're going to go with. Very excited to be working with them all weekend or Saturday. I'm sorry. And we are playing, if you guys didn't see it, we're playing for an Elsa too. So back-to-back weeks, we were playing for Elsas. This one's not a PSA 10, but it's still an Elsa, right? Like, you still got to be pretty excited to win an Elsa. I don't know. Or, I would be pretty excited. And Melissa's not there, so everyone has a better chance, right?
Yeah, because she would murder for another Elsa.
It's true. Oh, and this came in. This was added to the prize pool. Bit of a secret. Only me and Keith really knew about it because we weren't exactly sure if we were going to get it in time, but it did. I got them in the mail. They're here. We'll be bringing them with me. So the winner is going to walk away with this wonderful foiled Elsa mat. It is gorgeous. Shout out to Mattified. They're incredible. They're over on Twitter, Mattified Customs. They are literally this is beautiful. Huge shout out to them. The winner's going to get one, and we're also going to raffle one of these off, so it's going to be a door prize. And there's also door prizes going on for art, so I don't have the pictures of it, but Keith got some Rapunzel arts, things like that. So there's a lot of really cool door prizes going on also. And the craziest thing, Dick, I don't know if you've seen this yet, we got more room. We went up to 59 players.
I know.
59 players.
They must have sold their Funko Pops.
So I am so excited because this thing just keeps growing. The encounters for us, they're really the best store around. In a 90 minutes from my house, there is not a store that's better than the encounter. They're consistently trying to get better. They're consistently trying to make the prizes better. Normally these are like 1.5Ks. This one's a straight up 2K, and it's guaranteed. It was guaranteed pricing before we ever sold a ticket. And it sold out. And then they're like, you know what? We sold out early again. Let's see. Can we do it? Can we get involved? Can we get it bigger? And they found a way to fit 8 more people in the room. I'm super excited. 59 players is awesome. Yes. So that's the trick, right? That's the trick.
This is exactly why it's an odd number of people.
Yes. The trick is that you can't fit 60, but you can fit 59 because you don't have that last table for someone to actually play. So yeah, someone gets to show up and get a buy.
That's my favorite opponent.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You always win.
I love this. This is hilarious.
What's Eagles Funko call? Lorcana?
It's a stock trading joke.
Oh, okay.
I got it, Timothy.
Okay. I'm sorry, Tim. Oh, over my head. Lots of people in chat tonight. Topic of the conversation today, guys. Let me know. While we're live right now, or after the fact, if you haven't yet. What is the best card in Disney Lorcana right now? I think it's a really fair debate. I think there's enough choices, honestly. We've been talking about ours throughout the show, But if you're new, you just showed up, you're just hanging out, let us know. Let us know in chat. I see that Jorge is now joined us. Jorge, can you join the raffle without being there? No, can't do it. Sorry, not allowed. It's only for the players in the room, unfortunately. Ooh, we got AJ. Oh, AJ's here. Hey, AJ.
Yeah, he came in earlier and called us ladies.
Ladies, hello, ladies. That's fair. It's all right. He's a kid. He can get away with it. Coil. Okay. Diablo. It seems like a running normal thing here. Oh, there it is. Should Mr. Arrow be a pirate? If he was a pirate, he would. No, he would not. He would not. Dad kind of. I'm sorry, bud. Timo Bickderns, Mufasa, and ain't even in like the top 20. Come on, get out of here. Zimba is MVP for sure. Zimba's definitely MVP. Best card in Disney Lorcana is Bare Necessity. Ooh. How do you feel about Bare Necessities?
I had to run back to my store one day to grab one because remember when I ripped mine? Because I hate that card so much. I hate.
Yeah, remember that card sucked.
I hate Bare Necessities.
Be Prepared as a close second.
Yeah, I would not put Be Prepared in my top 50 personally, but
I don't think I'd put. That's a bit brash. I think it'd be in the top 20. I think if I really sat down and I really made a list. I said yesterday on JDZ, I was hanging out with JDZ yesterday. Shout out to JDZ. He's great. He's fun. And I said that the game without Be Prepared would literally be unplayable. I don't think you can play Disney Lorcana in any which way if Be Prepared didn't exist. I think it would literally be miserable.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it
I like that it's in the game.
Okay.
I'm just not really going to put it in my deck.
You don't have to, though. You don't
right.
have to.
Exactly.
People should. People need to have the incentive to have it.
Remember that Starsea games where I played one Be Prepared?
Yeah, I loved it.
All my opponents still played around Be Prepared.
Listen, before the Hiram ban, I was team no Be Prepared. Like I was good with it. I was team 4 Sisu or team 8 Sisu with Medusas, and I would be happy playing in that deck. I didn't need Be Prepareds. But people need to think that I have them. They need to respect that I have them.
John is just firing off.
Diablo,
Happy as a Clam, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel
is a really good one that no one has said yet. She is worth about 9 ink, so
Rapunzel's real good. Ariel for a time. I don't think Ariel's up there anymore. Cindy's probably still one of the best cards in the game, without a doubt. No doubt. Maui Shark is pretty good. Maui Shark is pretty good. It's hard to deny Maui Shark. Beep is there you go. Fairly skillful card depending on the deck in question. It's true. Oh, here we go. We got a whole list. Sapphire Coil, Diablo, Maui Shark, Beak Sisu, Be Prepared, a whole new world.
I'll teach him how to play Lorcana one day.
AJ, you're doing great. Don't listen to him. All right, so we weren't around last week, and there were lots of there was a couple good questions in the Discord. So we're gonna answer them now. There was no new questions today. You guys, nobody wanted to ask any more questions. You would thought that this was a week that people would be like jammering for these questions. No, it wasn't. It was not. So we're gonna get into them. All right. Here's my favorite. We're gonna start with the top one because I think it was funny that it happened anyway. If RB is not going to ban errata any of the Sapphire cards, saying this hypothetically, no inside info here. Spoilers, it happened, guys. Would something like lower the limit of 1 or 2 per deck, which is basically something we talked about this week in the what is a ban list video, could allow you to play with the cards but limit the oppressiveness. Does the mulligan system for the game have an effect on what you would limit? Would you rather just ban errata than limit the card? What do we got, Dick? How do you feel about errata /ban / limit restriction? What's our cup of tea?
All right, kick AJ out of the Discord.
Kick AJ out. No, he's our best moderator.
Talking about limiting cards. My God,
yeah, I'm with
hate
you.
it. I hate the thought. Anyone that says that to me is I just assume they're trolling me, because you know what's worse than like both of you having access to 4 Hirams is like both of you having access to 1 and your opponent draws theirs.
Yeah.
Like,
There
oh my god,
certainly is a much worse feeling.
if you think it feels bad when someone shifts Diablo onto, imagine knowing they only had 1 in their deck. Just imagine the feeling. And like in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a lot of ways to search your deck.
Yeah.
Right. There's virtually no ways.
In Magic, the same for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's virtually no ways to search your deck here.
Yeah.
So I will.
Hey, I can play that Madrigal song. All right. I can play Llama. Okay.
I will excuse all of the ex-Yu-Gi-Oh players who are talking about limits.
Sure.
But everyone else, you've got no excuse. I put you down here.
There it is. That's the juice right there.
Yeah.
Shift Merlin, baby.
Perfectly in color too, for our 1 Hiram.
It's gonna remove higher. Yeah, there it is.
You know what? If they made a rule that my opponent had to play 4 Shift Merlin and they could play 1 Hiram, I'd let them.
Blurple all the way. I'm sorry, it's Samothus. We're Samothus channel here. My bad.
Yes.
Yeah. No. The answer is no. Limiting is the worst.
Yeah. Awful. And then as far as erratas go, I hate it. I think it should be illegal.
Yeah.
If something like, if you're gonna tell me this all of a sudden is worth 50 cents just because someone says so, well, this is worth 50 cents. Each one of these.
Don't come to the party like that, JD. All right.
Yeah, what does this even mean?
First of all, it's Disney Lorcana. Okay. Don't get yelled at.
I'm reporting you. You think you're gonna take my job and just get away with it?
He's coming in with the raid. Thank you, JZ. We do love you here. Welcome, everyone.
Oh, we're not in the Lorcana category. We never are.
Yes, we were. What the?
StreamYard automatically puts us in just chatting.
Yo, I'm so upset.
It's a StreamYard thing.
I'm so upset. I changed it before we started. Now I know
it's ridiculous.
I'll fix it. I'm sorry, JDZ. I am the worst. Boom, it's updated. We're there. We're back. Everyone joining, thank you. JDZ is obviously the best, per usual. We were talking about you earlier. We're talking about in 2 weeks going down to Arkansas, having a blast, putting on a party for everyone, meeting everyone down there. You missed out on Mo. Mo was here too. He was hanging out with us. But yeah, we're going to...
I know what JDZ meant to say, but the way this reads is literally anyone could replace. No. Anyone could replace. Cortez, I have learned firsthand, you do not say this when you are in Arkansas. People are not happy. They already, like, a lot of people there already don't like me with the red hair. Like, I was shocked that Mo was from the area because he's so nice.
I had no idea.
When I drive through there, I get some looks.
Yeah.
Also, pro tip, if you are going to Arkansas, deep fried pies. They're like everywhere. They're unbelievable.
What is this? What do I got? What do I got to get? What do I got to buy?
Does anyone in chat remember Ninja Turtle pies?
Yeah.
They have deep fried pies that are just like that, but they're not green inside. If you get the vanilla pudding, it tastes exactly like Ninja Turtle pies.
All right. So I got to look this up. This is what we got. This is what me and JDZ got to eat while we're there.
It's one of their like state famous dishes.
Okay.
Which is hilarious.
JDZ, I hope you're ready for the deep fried pie. It's got to happen now.
It's every pie. I went to me and Liz went to a place. There was like 50 options for pies.
Okay.
But it tasted exactly like Ninja Turtle pie. Like I thought I was 4 again.
Vince, all I'm saying, we got room in the Airbnb. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, pick me up on the way, Vince.
There's room in the Airbnb. Dick's not coming. He's not coming.
I will if Vince comes.
Oh, there it is. 2-time. There's room. All right. We got room. That's all I'm saying. We're looking for it. Yeah, I don't know. Deep fried pies. That's interesting. I don't know
I
anything about
was okay. Well, first of all, here's my wife. Oh my god, the deep fried pies.
it.
We did not need to go into Arkansas, and we intentionally went into Arkansas on our way to California one year
You guys
because
are gonna stop with the Arkansas stuff. I'm gonna say it wrong, and people are gonna be upset. And I don't want to do it.
yeah. So Arkansas, right?
I want to be welcomed. All right, you're killing me.
Yo, he knows what's up. Me and him, kindred spirits.
As an Aussie, the idea of deep fried pie. What? Well, first of all, as an Aussie, what time is it? How are you doing?
We found the 0.1% of our viewer base from Australia.
Yo, that's true. However, before DLC Melbourne, it was 0%. I looked at the stats.
What's it called? But what are you guys deep frying like kidney pies or something gross? Like, where was I anyway?
Pies. I don't know.
Chocolate or bust. I like the vanilla just because that was the flavor of the Ninja Turtle ones.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know anything about this, but I'm now
Dude, I got chat blowing up.
I love it. I've never heard of these things. This is great. I haven't been actually in the meeting I said I haven't been to Arkansas since like 2010, 2011 probably, and I was very young and immature and didn't know shit. So
it's Arkansas for one.
Stop it.
For two.
Stop it.
Yeah, we were just Googling like all the famous foods in each state. Mm-hmm. And she was like deep fried pies. I was like, deep fried pies? I'm fat. Let's go. Dude, and you think like it's the size of one of the Tasty Cake ones. Place we went, it was a pie,
like a person
folded in half. Yeah, like we got two, thinking, okay, one for each of us. No, we threw away like most of it.
Okay,
it was so good.
Okay. All right. It's inevitable at this point. I'm gonna eat it. That's all I know.
See. Kidney pies.
All right.
Hey, remember when we went to the Japanese place in Miami?
Yeah.
And I was just like spitting all the autistic facts about food.
Yes.
Like, this is why I'm teaching you about pies now. Like, I know
your Japanese beer that was just Miller Lite.
No, I Googled it. You're wrong. No one agrees with you. No one on Reddit agrees with you, and we all know Reddit is where you find out anything.
As we learned from last night, Reddit is the epitome of toxicity. All right, that's what I got. All right, we got more questions.
I don't know what you're talking about. We could have did this for another hour.
Yeah, we got more time.
Arkansas, what up?
All right, so water cooler question. All right, for those of you that are unfamiliar with this, that means you go to work and you get you walk over to the water cooler and you drink water. I don't have a water cooler position, and I know Dick doesn't, but it's fine. So if Zan is the best at green steel, Ed/Kendall is the best at ruby purple or ruby amethyst, Sailor DKP the best at ruby sapphire, Dan is the best at GB. I don't know how, just so we're clear before I go any further, I don't know how we got that classification. I don't agree with that. Who is the purple steel equivalent? Is there one? Edit, shout out to the doc guide. Its contributions and their accolades. It helped me move from rabbit to doc for this set. So that's the shout out to the doc guide. We got to shout out to the doc guy, right? Because we love it and we put a lot of time and effort into it. It's definitely getting more updates now that it's not dead in the water because Hiram's gone. So that's wonderful. I think that if we had to pick an Amethyst Steel player, it would be hard not to choose Zach Bivens because he ate a top 32 with it. He took it to a top 8 at Continentals. So I think that if you were just looking for a straight accolade, like that's what I would do. I would argue that I'm better than Zach Bivens at Amethyst Steel, and I'll fight him for it. I don't really care. So that's what I would say. I agree. I don't know how I got wrapped into being the Emerald Sapphire best player because Colby was way better at that deck than I was. And a lot of the resources that you guys seen about that deck all come from Colby. Colby just isn't on the channel like everyone else. So, I would say that I'm much more of an Amethyst Steel player. Nunez, also great Amethyst Steel player. He played it again last night, went undefeated at locals, which is whatever, but it's still one of those. Everyone pretty damn excited for it. And yeah, I think there's a several. I think that if you're just looking for accolades, it's Bivens. He played 2 very different decks and versions of it to a top cut. I don't know why we're promoting Luke at all in this conversation.
I agree.
Luke, I don't even know how you can literally promote the Wizard. Like I'm a Wizard fan, but that Wizard never registered that deck in a DLC, so get him out of here. Sorry,
it's because they love each other.
Yeah, no, we're not promoting Luke for Amethyst Steel. Emerald Steel, you can promote him all you want. We're not promoting him for Amethyst Steel. Anyhow.
Also, what a slight against Dale.
Oh, I mean that's fair. Dale's a great. I mean,
Emerald
we're not to Dale though. Like where's he been? Love you, Dale.
Waiting in the wind.
He did say that he was back now because Hiram is banned. So. I will challenge anyone to an Amethyst Steel duel. I don't think anyone's better at it than I am. That's my humble opinion. But next question. Boom. Do you foresee a place to play old formats in Lorcana, even semi-competitively? I get reminiscent when opening the Japanese product. I don't know. This is a tough one, right? Like, is there ever a world, where you're like, hey, you own a store now, okay? Do you think that your customers would be excited if you're like, hey guys, we're just gonna do a set 1 tournament tonight? Like, do you think that's exciting for a community?
I do think that would be exciting if we allowed like playtest cards, because if there's not like a real like DLC level type support for this, a lot of people sell their older cards to buy new decks. So they're just going to feel bad when like this card that was really good in chapter 1 is unplayable now and they don't have it anymore. And they're not just going to go buy it just to come play in my store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I look on like Lorcanito and there's Japanese testing, I'm like, God, I would love to do that just for fun. Like, I wish I had the time to queue into that. I would love, like, if there's not some kind of like modern or vintage or legacy in this game, I think that's a huge miss, and I would be extremely surprised and disappointed.
Do you think, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we talked about rotation in general. Do you think that there's ever a world where like we even get like a really like a supported format like that? I don't know.
I think if they don't announce we're rotating card, like if they have a rotation, I think if they don't announce we are rotating cards, but your cards will not be useless. Like we will, when we have enough cards, support it. Even if it's like there's 1 vintage world championships a year for Magic. Okay. There's like 1 legacy Grand Prix a year, maybe 2.
Is that like from Wizards of the Coast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they support all of their formats.
Okay.
Like if you play in vintage world championships, you have to have a Black Lotus. We were talking about it a couple weeks ago.
We were talking about it with the judge from SSG this past weekend. He had a Black Lotus in his sleeve, actually, just walking around with it.
Well, he wants to get shot in Miami.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
But I think it would be a huge miss. And then, like, people will say, like, well, then they have to have like a ban list for this, so on and so forth. Like, if you just accept that the reason these cards were rotated is because they are way too powerful, and you just say, yeah, this format is just going to be the most powerful degenerate decks in the game, people will still love to play it. Like, it doesn't matter if something's dominating, because that's the point when you go into it.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. And this is just coming from games that I played in the past. Like, World of Warcraft had, World of Warcraft also had core constructed. Like, that was what the standard was, kind of what we have right now. But they also had a format called Classic. And the problem with Classic is that it was just beyond broken. And there was no governing body. So I am a lot less interested in a format that is not supported by Ravensburger, because then it just becomes like this governing body of whoever is running these events get to like be the judge and jury of it all. And I don't know if I always agree with those things. So I think it's difficult. I think if like Ravensburger comes out and we do get to this point in time where they're like, okay, we're going to run this like alternate format. And even if it is like a throwback, you know, like even if it is a world where you're like, hey, we're in set 13, 14, and they're like, oh, we're going to do a random like 1 through 4 format, like take all your information and do with what you do. I don't know. I'm not, I think it's really difficult. And I think specifically in our game with like what we were saying earlier, it could be 50%, 50% like new players. Like, I don't know how a new player base would react to this either. I think I agree with you where people don't like when their cards are useless, but I also don't know. I can make the same argument that they love new cards, you know? So
yeah, I just want there to be more DLCs that are not core constructed.
I would love, yeah, we talked about this before. I would love a limited, you know, like first weekend of a set comes out and we're just playing like set 8 limited at a DLC. Sign me up. I'm in.
Yeah.
100%.
We also like need to get to a point where there are DLCs at least once a month, and it doesn't have to be just in America.
Okay. Yeah, I would be really comfortable with a flip flop. That's what Cryptozoic did also. So Cryptozoic for World of Warcraft was like American Dark and Fair, European Dark and Fair, American Dark and Fair, European Dark and Fair, and it was always on a monthly thing, which was cool because you can just like, now we actually have the ability, if we want to, we can go and fly and participate in a European DLC because it's not the same weekend as ours. So that would be awesome. So yeah, I think that what is absolutely worse than anything is when a new set comes out and a DLC comes out and you can't play with those cards. I would literally hate, I would not, I don't even want to go. I don't even want to participate. So if they change that and they made the schedule just go, okay, we're just going to have like 1,000-person seal tournament instead, I'm in. Like I'm just in, because that way everyone still gets to play with the new cards. The content is phenomenal because you get to talk about the new cards and you still get to have all those stories and all those conversations. So yeah, I don't know. I think I would love it. I'd really be into it. That's me. You know, we'll see. We'll see. It's hard to say though, right? Do you have any travel tips, tricks, and/or hacks besides sharing a room with people to save money? I got number one travel tip: get TSA pre-checked. Unbelievable, guys. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you see the post. The amount of time saved this year already for me in travel is unbelievable because of TSA pre-checked. It is absolutely worth the $73 or whatever it is. Like just buy it. I'm telling you.
And on top of that, get a travel credit card that has that included.
Yeah, that, I mean, if you can, you know,
you definitely.
But in general, I think
should.
any credit card with whatever percentage cash back that you can possibly get, at A+, 100%.
Not only like. So I have VentureX. If anyone wants a referral code, you know, hit us up. I have VentureX, so I get global entry for free, which includes TSA pre-check, and it does have like a $400 a year fee, but you get global entry, which is normally $120, and then you get a $300 travel credit. So it costs nothing as long as you are going to travel anyway, and like I get lounge access for free. So if you were going to eat at the airport, every time you fly, you instead eat for free. Whereas, you know, like if you want to get Burger King at the airport, it's like $12 for a Whopper or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you can't mobile order.
Someone that just bought a Whopper. Clearly, I need to get this credit card.
Yep. Lounge access. Yeah. Yep. Let me get that off.
Shout out to Pave. Yeah. We can't talk about that, guys. Shout out to Pave. Coming home from Seattle, I think. Yeah, coming home from Seattle, he brought me and Nunez into the lounge, and it was great. We got free dinner, got some drinks. It was great.
Yeah, and like it's not like bar food. Like if you've never been to a lounge, it's not trash.
No, and
They have like excellent chefs, and then they will have some of them that I've been to, you could rent a room for 2 hours to sleep in.
Yeah.
When I left Miami, I slept on the ground. I woke up and people were all around me were waiting to board.
Facts. Facts. Yeah. So I think that's definitely a good one. Just getting like, if you're gonna go on these trips anyway, building your credit through them is a phenomenal suggestion. Like, you never know like when you're gonna need it.
And if you're someone that uses a debit card, 5% cash back is a lot better.
Yeah.
Than just using a debit card of your
own. Yeah. I mean, literally, even 1% is still better than debit card. Like period. Like whatever it is, it's still better. Yeah.
The VentureX is 5% on travel, so it's 10% if you book a hotel through them. They also they have, if you're someone who stays in like really nice hotels, like if you're someone who enjoys suites, you get discounts on those as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not only, and then if you're anything else, like sign up for like I'm a Best Western Diamond Plus member because I stay at Best Western so often. They run promotions all the time, like stay 2 nights, get a $50 gift card. I will stay not knowing, and then I'll get a gift card in my email, like because I was going to stay anyway. When I went to CCS, I stayed at Best Western, and I got a $50 gift card. Okay. I was still going to stay at Best Western, so yeah, loyalty programs always a plus.
Okay, yeah, that's a good tip. There it is. Boom. Maybe a conversation about strategies when going up against Blue Steel or Red Blue, since they seem to be the decks that everyone needs to be able to prep for and play against. Well, Vince, it is now April 10th. You still need to worry about this, but not as much. All right, I think this is a good one. So advice for players who know it's their best interest to take a break due to burnout, but have a hard time creating the separation from the game during the time frame to reset. Dick, you want to take this one?
I don't get time off. I don't know. I don't know what to suggest to people. If you feel burnt out in anything in life, I would say is very healthy just to stop doing it.
I messed up. I'm sorry. It wasn't Vince. It was the other Snorlax. You're right.
Harsh.
Sorry, Gene.
I do have advice for playing against Sapphire decks, though. Okay. Stop wasting removal on Happy as a Clam.
Yeah.
There were definitely games I won where like their Happy as a Clam was irrelevant. It already drew 2 cards. Mm-hmm. Like the worst case scenario is they're playing Dime for free. Yeah. But then like I just have one less way to deal with the 8-drop Tamatoa. Yeah. And if they were going to shotgun you with that anyway, them playing the Dime the next turn, paying for it, didn't matter.
Yeah.
So, when every time someone banished one of my Tamatoas, I'm like, awesome. One less shot, you're banishing Hiram. Like,
yeah. True.
When your opponent's already got like insane value on you, just giving them more value. Like now it's a 6 cost, draw 2 cards, discard a card from your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
Discard a removal spell specifically, not even just like their worst card.
It's true.
But anyway, burnout. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, burnout. It's really about the question of what is causing said burnout. I think it's kind of worth it if you haven't yet. The Metafide's been going in the chat there, but like to check out the kind of the words from Dick here, where like he's just like, hey, like for a while there, I was just showing up to be with my friends. I was just showing up to have some fun, kind of just enjoy the game, like enjoy the community, right? Like, so if you're the type of player that is just going to league, or going to these events to spend time with your friends, then that's like a different type of burnout, right? But if you're just like by yourself, going to league, being discouraged because you're not successful, you're not like doing what you want to do, then, there's a couple things, right? Like the first thing is why are we getting the burnout? Like what is the core to that? If it is losing, if it is the game, if it is the mechanics, like then I think that we should probably just take a break, step back, and don't go to set champs, right? Like if you think that this is a game that you're going to want to play for a while, and right now you don't like the format, then that's fine. Go take a break. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's like something else, like if it's just like a core thing, if it's like I'm not successful thing, well then it becomes like, okay, what can I do to become successful? Like what type of changes do I actually have to make, and are they possible? I think there's a lot of people out there that and I know Smurf is kind of one of those. Smurf is a long time friend in the Discord, and we literally label him as Smurf tier. Like he plays like these off meta decks, and maybe there's a world where Smurf is just struggling because his off meta stuff is like couldn't deal with Hiram, right? And that's a core factor right now. Is in this meta game, off meta was probably at its absolute worst, So hopefully with the removal of said mouse, then the off meta stuff has a little bit more opportunity, a little bit more chance, because I think the biggest part and like the number one factor of losing Hiram is that I genuinely feel that most decks, aside from a turn 2 Diablo that just goes unchecked, we're all going to be playing off the top. We're all going to be playing with limited resources. There's no deck anymore that just gets to go unlimited power, right? Like there's none of that. Aside from a turn 2 Diablo that you just don't have an answer to, that gets to draw a million, every deck in the format is going to be down to like 2 or 3 cards or less. In most cases, I think we're going to be playing lots of games of war, which is a good thing I'm not testing against Dick because he would just beat me all the time. So I think that that's really what it is. But in the end, burnout is burnout. Like if you got to take a break, but you can also just say like, hey, I just want to go and hang out with my friends, and I just like have a good time. Don't care about the wins and losses. Like just go and vibe, like I think there's a lot of that too. So it's really about the direction of what is actually causing burnout.
Yeah. I used to live my life around burnout before Disney Lorcana. I would 2 months. Liz might chime in. She's doing mail, but so we'll see in the chat. 2 months straight, I'd wake up and work for 12 hours straight, just nonstop, right? And I'm like, man, this is great. Everything's going great. Making, I don't know, $250,000 in a year, sitting at home. And then I'm like, man, I'm losing it. I cannot. I'm never going to work again. And I would go to Florida for a month. And I would go to the theme park every single day. And then until I got sick of that. And I was like, all right, I'm ready to go back to work. And that was my whole life cycle. So, yeah, I don't have great advice on this subject. I just use it to my advantage. I know that I'm someone who is min-maxer in life.
Sure.
So I would just use it to my advantage.
Very, very fair. Well, thanks everyone hanging out tonight. This has been fun. You guys have been active. You've been chilling. We're yup.
I heard the printer stop for a second.
Let me get a loan. Okay. All right. I think that worked the other way. All right. So we're gonna be going into tier list? Question mark? All right. I when I wrote this, I didn't actually go through the effort of finding the tier list yet, so that was part of the problem. I did find it. Let's see where did I put it is the question. I might have to find it again. All right, hold on. Hold please.
Yeah, I'll just read chat while you're.
All right, you do it. Go ahead.
You can't scare people like that. You can't just throw me up on the screen.
The Guy Fieri pick, okay?
There's children watching. Yeah, you should have had that loaded up. What are you doing? If anyone hasn't seen the Guy Fieri memes, go to my Twitter. I don't advertise that with Twitter very often. But yeah, I think ultimately people forget that Lorcana is a hobby and a game first and foremost. The object of the game is to have a good time. Winning is fun, certainly, but not at the expense of burnout. Did you read my article today? Because that's basically what it was based on. And like I said, which James told me, don't submit that article, bro. But I see comments places, and they're like, I'm like going to CCS just to hang out, like didn't even dye my hair, right? And people are just like, oh, well, Dick bombed again in a tournament. Like I brought a deck that was, I don't know, 3 weeks out of date just to go hang out with people. I went and had a hot pot with some of our Metafy people. And then I went to SSG, right? And I haven't heard the end of going 0-2 drop at SSG since it happened. Whereas I could have been 2-0. And if they were like, hey, do you want to jump on commentary? I'd have been like, yep, drop. That was my main goal of going there, and I achieved that. So I felt good, right? But then I come home, and everyone else is telling me I should feel bad. And it's very frustrating because at the end of the day, this is a game, and I just wanted to hang out with my friends. Like, I had way more fun playing Tichu and playing whatever that other terrible game was than I did.
I don't know how I feel about Tichu still. I don't know
Yeah, because you're crazy. Tichu is.
I don't know how I feel.
Tichu is so good. Any elder gamers like Tichu out there?
Like once a weekend, I think you can get. There's no way I could play that all day.
I would play that 12 hours straight with Silverman and Chaz.
They're degenerates.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, we got Vince. There we go. We got a new it.
Yeah, there we go.
Now, man. I have to buy Tichu. Can I get it in time for this weekend?
Dude, Vince, I have Tichu on me at all times.
The only thing better than there's a lot of things that are better than Tichu, but Crokinole would have been way more fun. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Crokinole is obviously more fun, but Tichu fits in a deck box.
Yeah.
I can fit both decks. It comes with 2 decks in case you lose one.
Does it?
Yeah. The board game itself comes with 2 decks in case you lose one. They have different backs.
Oh, it's actually a board game? It's not just like a deck of cards that you carry?
No, it has this 4 special cards.
But I'm saying, like, there's not like an actual board with it, right?
No.
Oh,
but
okay.
it comes in a small red box like this with a dragon on the front of it.
Okay.
I wanted to make a video about things that you should bring to DLCs, and that was going to be.
I still have all those things that we got at PAX Unplugged. I got them all.
But that was going to be one of the board games I suggested because, like, you could play rounds in between rounds.
Yeah,
you don't have to sit there and play to 1,000 all at once.
Sure,
you can So yeah, I absolutely love Tichu. The hardest part is getting exactly 4 people.
Yeah, as we learned, it was difficult. Shout out to Jack, SSG Ghosty. He played 2 rounds with us, which was fun. We did have a round where we like lit you guys up, and that was fun. I remember that round. That was fun. But then I also remember the rounds where you and Melissa had like every wild card and every ace, and I just felt like useless.
Yeah. Well, painful. you had a bomb ace. You had bomb aces.
Yeah, before I even knew that existed.
Right. Once you get to know the game a lot better as well, the game becomes better.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. That's probably fair.
All right. Anyway, like I was saying, like I had a way better time doing that than making top 16.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have rather just play Tichu all day, Saturday and Sunday. Well, would you look at that?
I found it. We did a thing. All right, Dick. We're gonna do this in like super reverse order.
Start with the D's.
What decks are the D's?
Nuts. Got him.
Hey.
I'm not seeing Ligma.
All right, this is definitely a D. This is definitely a D, right?
I thought you would just go from left to right. Oh, okay. So
no. I just like fucking put them in there. Language.
Jesus. Guys. Can people write F in the chat? Like,
oh, it's all right.
L.
Language.
Yeah. Anyway, green, purple, D.
Green, purple, D?
Sorry, Mo. I'm glad you got off before.
Real? I don't know. I think I gotta fight you on that. Really?
I wrote an article.
I know you did.
Where I said, why would you play this combination? I couldn't tell you.
I mean, I can tell you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's technically a D, but it is in my eyes. Okay. I would never.
All right. We got to put Ruby Steel there too, right?
Yes.
Until proven otherwise. All right.
Man, I forgot Sploosh even played that deck.
Hey, he didn't play that deck. He didn't play that deck in Miami. Just saying.
Yeah, but
He might have done better if he did. Ironically, just say it.
like seriously, I know this is an ad roll. Basically, go read my Metafy stuff. It's all free. And like I explained to you why you would play certain color combinations, and there's just not a
That one actually is
justifiable
a
reason.
very good. That's a very good one.
Thank you.
I'll go find it real quick.
I've never heard that from my father before, but you know,
I
doesn't come on here anymore.
Scott Landis is not here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Let's see. That was a little while ago. We've had a lot of stuff going on the Metafy recently. Here it is. I found it. There's lots of stuff. But this is the second article in a row that was free by Mr. Dick here. So let's come back. Where are we at? We're over here. We're back. Here we go. Boom. Direct link to the post. Ink Identities. Huge shout out to Dick. All right. So
All right, we're back.
Any of the other things we think are
Red green.
Red green? All right,
Christmas.
yeah, that's fair.
Gotta go.
That's fair. All right. So these are the things that we would not recommend people into playing, right?
Yeah, if I was ever driving to a tournament,
I might put this here. I'm gonna be honest.
well, it depends on who the player is.
I still might put. I don't know. I don't think it's good. I think you know what's really funny. I made like when I put my original tweet out about the ban. In my world, I was like, oh yeah, like Sapphire Emerald doesn't play Hiram, so it'll get better. But like the real truth is that we were really good into Hiram decks.
Yeah.
Hiram decks aren't there anymore, so we're kind of we're a little bit in trouble, guys. So yeah, for right now, I think it's on the back burner, sadly. Oh, all right. What about C tier? Right? What do we got?
Green yellow.
Green yellow. All right. So is this just specifically Turner Dogs?
Turner Dogs and discard, I think.
All right. So both of them are going to be C tier. There's no option for this to go any higher, up or down, up or down.
Not for me. You should have brought two of these side by side to see how different we are.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We can agree. We can agree. If we did two, it would take too long. All right. Blurple? Amethyst?
What, in C?
Yeah, we think.
No.
Think this is B? Think it's better?
Yeah, I think that's better in C.
Right,
I don't think there's
aggro in a steel world.
I mean, God, I don't even consider this a deck. I can't believe Alex played that. I believe it, but
top 16, Bo. Top 16.
I know. Just caught people off guard. You could put that anywhere you want, and I'm
actually going to put it. I'm going to put it in B tier.
Okay. As long as it wasn't A.
So nothing else here is C, right? Like all these can be pretty respectable everywhere else. Like Ruby Amethyst. You think Ruby Amethyst is coming back?
I think
people
Ruby.
keep telling me it's coming back.
I think those people are delusional. Okay. I think that's a B tier deck.
Okay. All right. So we can agree that none of these decks are nothing else is C tier. I can get behind that. I will feel like this is actually C tier, so I'm just gonna move it up and we'll.
Okay.
All right. I think it's actually the reason why I think both of those decks are C tier is like Turner Dogs. It's a weird thing where I think they did somehow get better because there's no Hiram. But I think that
But the turn that your opponent played Hiram, you felt great.
Yes, I agree. So I don't know. I think it's weird. But I think that both of these decks as discard decks are significantly worse than Emerald Steel. So like to me, you're just playing a worse version of a deck that's probably better.
Yeah.
But you know, people like to be different. I do think that D tier. I agree. I did agree. The D tier was hot. It was. Nate here is saying that Ruby Amethyst is A tier. Nate, come on, Nate.
I think that what I was saying about green purple is I think it couldn't have technically been D tier because if I'm like in a car and someone tells me they're playing something from D tier, I'm just like, turn around. I don't want to be seen with you.
Okay.
I'm not going to this tournament.
So that means the Amber Sapphire deck that James is working on.
Have you seen me and him drive to a tournament together?
I thought he drives you everywhere. Very fair. Okay. I think Ruby Amethyst is until proven, until really proven it. I think Ruby Amethyst B tier makes a lot of sense.
I don't even think you have to prove it. I think it's just by far B tier or less. And I think that anyone who in the future is going to be like, it just won whatever. Like, yes, it's trading card game. It's not chess. Like, you can win with anything. It does, like, a deck can win a tournament.
Yeah.
That's why you have tournaments. But like, it's not going to like climb the ladder. Like,
I do think there is a lot of merit for that deck in the 2-game format. And I think that specifically in the 2-game format, it allowed those players that were exceptional at the deck to just be better than their opponents,
I also think if you are just better with your deck than your opponents are with their decks, that you will do well. So like,
I generally think that if those players were just as good or put just as much time into like literally any other deck, they probably still had the opportunity to be successful, and it wouldn't have changed much.
Yeah, they're just really good players.
Yeah, exactly. Samethyst?
B.
All right. What is interesting to you about Sapphire Amethyst right now?
Well, I think that if Amethyst is coming back, I think adding Sapphire to it is the best combination, because like when you're in the Amethyst mirror, I feel like you can TPO or sail, preferably sail, because you have so many 1-drops. And then all of a sudden, like if you were on the play, you've just time walked your opponent. If you were on the draw, you just caught up to your opponent. Yeah. And I think it's one of the only decks that you can TPO and get back out of it because of rabbits. Like a lot of people I watch, like Ink Sail play TPO because TPO gets on base, whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know what you're doing. Like you're gonna run out of cards.
Yeah.
Like unless you specifically draw Hiram, you are going to run out of cards before you get to your most powerful plays. Yeah, like you can have your 3 lore. I don't care.
Yeah. I do agree the TPO is the backup plan.
Yeah.
I agree to that in a big way.
But ramping on 2 is just so powerful.
Yeah,
and the fact that it's inkable is crazy.
Right. Like it's a necessity that like when you got a TPO, it's just too good because like turn 3 Genie is good. Turn 3 Rabbit is good. Turn 3 McDuck Manor is good. Turn 3 Library, good. Like all of these cards are very, very good on turn 3. So you got to do it.
TPO also works well with Crab.
Yep.
And if you have a Fox and you just like really need to Fox something, I will gladly take my TPO back and ink it.
Okay. I'm gonna listen. We're gonna talk about this. Okay. Listen. Green purple discard is not a deck that you want to face at all. Well, here's a fact: the decks that are left in this list are all steel decks. Every one of them. This deck it's not going to be prolific, guys. I'm telling you, it's got a lot more enemies now, and
I haven't like played.
And there's going to be a lot more evasive enemies, a lot more cards that interact with evasive. It's not going to be as free as it's felt recently, in my humble opinion.
I had not really play tested against it, but I played against it with Blue Steel, and I felt like I had a bye. Like I was 3-0. And I just immediately was 4-0. So, but again, I had steel. So,
very true. Any of these decks left B tier? Are we all A tier and above?
No, I think they're all better than B tier.
All right. What's our first A tier? What we got?
Blue red.
Okay. Deck's just cracked, right? Like, listen, DKP won a DLC with this deck, and I don't think it got much worse by losing Hiram.
Yeah, it very much did not rely on Hiram whatsoever. It was just a nice card.
I mean, his list, I think, even played 3. It only played 3 of them. Yeah. It wasn't even playing 4, guys. It's not that big of a loss. And that deck, personally, I hated it. I played it this weekend, and I played the longest games of Disney Lorcana of my life, and I was like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm going to go learn some random new game with Dick because that's going to be way more fun. I am not a Ruby Sapphire advocate, though. I understand that people are and the people enjoy it. Just not for me. But yeah, I think the deck is great. There's staring down McDuck's Manners still sucks.
I also just think like Coil is such a good card. Like
Mm.
Coil plus Sisu, Coil plus Maui, Coil plus Shark.
Even just Tala, like just running Tala
Yes.
in and living, it's just
I specific like I was trying to tell everyone at locals yesterday, like, calm down.
yeah.
Like if we both play like Grandma Tala or something and you have Coil, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I'm just
Yeah,
getting
I think it's
wrecked.
interesting. I think that obviously, we just talked about how good Ramp is on 2. I feel like this deck is just gonna be one of those decks that no longer like
Has to
fully
ramp on 2.
relies on it, and they might just have to be very similar to what Ruby Amethyst was for a period of time where you had like B King Undisputeds in your deck, and then the ladies and the Medusas, like you had all those things in your deck. This deck can do that, but it can be inkable. Like a lot of
Yeah.
the fact that a lot of your cards can just be more inkable, and you can still just play Medusa and the Sisus, and like not to mention Sisus just straight up board wipe. I think that's where it's going to be fine. I think I personally think that Ruby Sapphire just went from being S tier to A tier, and it's still just very, very good.
Yes. And, ironic Tomas is here because I was going to say, I mean, I think we could just also play more Great Stone Dragons.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to ink from our hand.
Yeah. No, it's great.
So.
I love it. Emerald Seal?
A tier.
I'm with you. I think listen, Diablo is a great card. There's no doubt about it. But, I think that we have enough tools. I think there's way more evasive characters now. In set 6 metagame, Diablo it wasn't a great card. It was not a prominent card whatsoever. Like, yeah, we saw Zan take it to a top 4, but that's Zan, Like,
people literally made memes about how you couldn't play it in set 6.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
we're basically right back to set 6. So I don't understand the memes of Diablo is unbeatable.
Yeah.
Like, I could go on a 2-hour-long TED Talk of how idiotic I think people are.
I just think there are so many more options now to interact with the card that it's not nearly as free to go infinite with anymore. If you get to go infinite, great. Like you did it, right? But against most of your opponents that are of equal like play skill as you, it shouldn't happen. Like unless they brick, unless they just took it and they said like, all right, we're just not going to beat it today. It's fine if we dodge, yada yada. Like fine, but when the last 3 decks here are all steel decks again, is what we're talking about. Like Diablo is not king when the whole format is playing removal to it.
And it can still obviously win. Like someone could still go undefeated.
Sure.
That's every deck. Again, that's a trading card game.
Not Amber Sapphire or not Emerald Ruby, but I would love it. Okay. As a content creator, over the moon.
Hey, Tiffany won set champs and then got second at set champs.
That's true. Anybody can win set champs, though. We're not talking about
but at the end of the day, I would say like 90% of the people that watch us are set champs grinders.
No, that's fair. I mean, we will definitely I love set champ seasons. That is mostly our successful times. Like in all honesty, for content creation, set champs is definitely when it's like all time high.
I can tell you out of like the 100 players closest to my house, 99 don't care about DLCs.
I mean, yeah, man, we gotta live the dream. What? By which one?
Me.
Oh, okay.
Like set champs is very, very important to a lot of people, and
Yeah,
I don't think we downplay it, but I do see.
No, I don't think we're downplaying at all.
Well, no, I see a lot of other people downplay it.
Oh, okay.
And be like, who cares about set champs? They haven't announced DLCs. More people care about set champs than DLCs, and that's just a fact.
I mean, I agree with you. Like think about this, guys. They had to change the rules to set champs because they weren't letting people play in them.
Yeah.
Like think about that. Like
that's we talked about it. Rule. You're all welcome.
Yeah. We talked about it in the video today for inclusivity, but it was like one of those. It's like they literally had to change the rules so people could just play in set championships. So I definitely think that this, ironically, I think it's a coin flip. I think it's really difficult to actually say if this is true or false. But with the lack of DLCs, you might see, with the lack of DLCs and the ban list that just got hit, you might see more popular set champs coming up. You know?
I was worried about the attendance of like, especially around me. A lot of people I see. Can I borrow these cards, please? A lot of people around me don't buy cards off the internet.
Yeah.
And stores have been sold out since pre-sales.
Yeah.
So,
well, good news. There's a store in town now.
Yeah, I don't have any product. I'm just kidding. I won a box. I have 6 boxes in stock, which is, I think, is the most in North Carolina.
Very fair. Very fair. Amber Steel.
A tier.
I'm with you. Both versions, you think? Do you think that Diggy Hole and songs are going to be there, or where are we at with that?
Yeah, I think both have equal merit to being played. I will probably never play Diggy Hole in my life. I feel like I have more outs with songs.
I agree.
If I'm like so far behind, I could always just draw a whole new world and then draw 4 removal spells, and I'm right back in it. You know.
I agree.
But like, I also like play test against people that play Diggy Hole, and like they win games against me. So
yeah, I mean, double Daisy, triple Daisy.
I would say Diggy Hole is a lot better against Diablo decks. Well, not a lot better. I think that it is. Well, no, it is frustrating against Diablo decks when they just like can play a location and move to it in the same turn.
Yeah,
and
no joke. Rapunzel's Tower is a pain.
Oh yeah,
I know. Rapunzel's Tower is a pain.
Like Steel isn't banishing things based on their strength. So
yeah. Speaking of Bell, in the latest comment here, Sapphire Steel?
A tier.
Okay.
Do you still see Bell in the meta with the loss of Fortisphere? I think we might see it dwindle down since it becomes a bad card without a turn 1 play. I think that changes the meta substantially. Yeah, so I played Bell this past weekend, right? And I hated it, except for the times that I was playing against really aggressive decks. And then it was like a godsend, right? I actually think Bell is perfectly fine in not the Kiwi Birds version.
Yeah.
Like just more free cards that you can play when you're going to wheel is great.
Yeah.
And then it's inkable. So it's like no big deal. And it sings the songs that you want to play when you have a whole new world in your deck.
Yeah.
So I'm actually more interested in playing Blue Steel Wheel than I ever have been before. I think I played it for a month or so previously.
Yeah.
And was just like, yeah, I just like Amber Steel better.
Yeah, this is also something that I've seen a bunch too. I've seen the 4 Popsicle, 4 Bell, just because that deck kind of needed a little bit help against aggro matchups as well. So I can definitely see a world.
I wish there was a better Amethyst item. You know what I really, really like is Croquet Mallet with Scrooge. And there's just not enough interesting things to do when you just draw a bad Croquet Mallet.
What does Croquet Mallet do?
1 cost uninkable Amethyst card. You can banish it to give a character rush.
Okay.
So if you exert that with Popsicles and whatever else to play a Scrooge, you could immediately give it rush and take something out.
It's not exert to do it.
It's just banish it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like Last Cannon. Yeah. But that was
it's like Shield of Arendelle.
Yes.
Okay.
That is like not nearly good enough. When you just draw it randomly, and there was nothing, like no other good items that could make this work out.
Yeah. I'm not sure we're known for I'm not sure we're known for Amethyst items, right?
Yeah. And we all know items can only be in blue-red.
Yeah.
From Steve's last TED Talk.
Not allowed to be in steel.
Yeah.
It's illegal. Spoilers. I think it still will be. That leaves the wonderful Amethyst Steel.
A tier for me.
I'm putting it in S tier, bro. This is it. This is the best deck in the game right now.
Well, when I think S tier, I think if you don't play this deck, you're a moron.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And I do tend to agree with you, but I think that like if it's not S tier, then it's the best A tier deck. I think
Yeah,
it's
I could
better than
agree.
all of these other steel decks. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the best steel deck and it's the best Amethyst deck. It literally is doing both of those things.
Yeah, I can agree to that. A comment that gets me in hot water is if you're playing Ruby Amethyst, maybe you're just not good enough to play Amethyst Steel,
I think there's some
or
fair
you have a
comments to that.
monetary reason to play Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah, there could be that too. I definitely think that we have gotten to a point in the game that Amethyst Steel is certainly better than Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah.
And it's because like you don't need Be Prepared anymore. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even think Ruby Amethyst needs Be Prepared anymore. You know, like
I think that people that mess up a decent amount need a reset button, and that's not even a sly. Like,
yeah,
there are definitely players that I will straight up like that I'm friends with that I will straight up tell them like, hey man, if you make like 2 mistakes, you better have a way to get out of it. Like,
yeah. Well, I also think that if we're playing a Be Prepared deck, like the Ruby Sapphire DKP list is strictly better than anything Ruby Amethyst is doing. You know, like
yeah,
so that's kind of where I'm at. Like if we don't need Be Prepared in our Amethyst control decks, then like Steel is just so much better. You have so much more versatility. You just get better, well-rounded characters. Like, you know, someone made a comment earlier about Flynn Rider and Sisu. Like, Flynn Rider is a terrible card. he's
I hate that card.
He's not good. Like, he is exceptional in matchups that like you're gonna win anyway. In all honesty,
Yeah,
so there is nothing from Ruby Amethyst that excites me literally at all. And I think that like you get so much more potential to be a good Disney Lorcana player when playing Amethyst Steel than you do like any of these other decks. All these other decks, maybe not Ruby Sapphire, not the DKB list. I think that it's actually kind of like a similar feeling, but all these other decks are praying to high roll early on in the game. Amethyst Steel doesn't high roll literally ever. You know, like there is nothing in this deck you're like, oh, I high rolled my opponent this game. It's like, that's not even what this deck does. It just plays the game and it gives you the best opportunity to be better than your opponent, you know?
Last night, AJ he was playing Amber Steel and he was feeling like burnt out about it. I think because he was playing me and I just like understand the mirror match so well.
Sure.
But then he's like, maybe I'll go back to Kiwi. And I said, AJ, like, I know you're 12, but you should probably just play Amethyst Steel. I said, you should probably just play Amethyst Steel because you are better than a lot of the people that live around here.
Yeah.
And you can make better decisions. Don't play a deck where you just have to play up your curve and you never have a thought.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
So which flavor of Amethyst Steel? I think Doc, Aggro, or the mid-range are both very good.
I honestly think they're both well positioned. I think Genie and Elsa are great in a format with Diablo. They're the reason why Diablo was kind of kept down before. I think if you want to lean into aggressive start, like Doc is so good in those. You know, you really have to force your opponent to have answers to cards like Maleficent. I think that one of the unsung heroes is honestly going to be a card like Helga. I think Helga is going to be a card that's going to see play. Like, you're going to put that card in play, and your opponent's going to be like, what does this card do again? And then they're going to read it again, and they'll be like, wait, like, this card sucks. Like, I can't, like, what do I do against this card?
Yeah.
I really think that it's the best deck in the format right now.
The amount of people when, like, we're clearly hyping up Helga, like, to be fun because it's our reveal card, that we're like, wow, you guys are reaching, like you guys are shills or whatever. We're just like,
well, first of all, spoilers for out there that anyone know. Listen, we gotta hype up new cards. All right, like that's our job as content creators when given a reveal. It's to make the card sound outstanding. Listen, go back and watch the Vault Door reveal. Okay, like people really thought that card was going to be good because of how well we sold it. But that's the truth. We gotta put that effort in. You gotta make sure that you're doing your best effort to make the set everything it could be. So But no, I seriously think Helga is a card that I had in my list a couple weeks ago, and now I'm like, man, now there's like 10,000 more Diablos in the format. You can't hide behind Cove. Like, yeah, this is great.
And I am a company shill, but I am also very honest. Like, I praised Steve for doing that Q&A. But I also told him in the Q&A he's crazy for listening to all these terrible comments.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit yesterday on JDZ's channel. That can't be the way to do this. Like that.
It's a lot better than Wizards when they just put it out and they put out like their reasoning, and then at the end of it, they might as well just write "suck it."
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe
like it was interesting that they seemed to care what the community thought, because I wouldn't care.
We're new. Obviously, new game, right? Definitely a different community. Definitely a different design team. They are 100% interested in the community feedback. We've already seen it over and over again from other things that have happened. So from that standpoint, I totally get it. I just think that an open forum for 2 hours is dangerous.
Yeah.
And there were definitely things that were posted that, it was not the time or place to post those things, but they were still there. And whether I agree with it or not is kind of all, whatever. But I just think that it was the reason why I think it sucks the most is because since it was over a 2 hour span and it was an open forum of like just like streamless chat, like 30-minute box doesn't matter at all when you have 30,000 people in the Discord commenting. So you still had the same not the same person, but you had every 3 minutes the same question get asked.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I asked this question that already got answered, and I wasted my 30-minute timer on a question, So I don't know. I don't think it was it. I wasn't excited about it.
So Purple Steel is not the best deck. Ruby Amethyst players have beat it before, and they just lost Cobra. I don't know how many times I have to say decks aren't unbeatable, no matter what.
True. But I also think that Ruby Amethyst is like the most free matchup.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, they've beat it before. Good job. Like, I went to a store one time where I didn't know proxies were allowed. Okay. And other players did not know proxies were allowed.
Sure.
And someone brought a precon and went 4-0.
Nice.
This was chapter 2 just come out. Like, you can lose to anything.
Well, if the precon was Amethyst Steel, that was pretty good.
Yeah, obviously.
I know it was not the dwarf deck.
Yeah. But I don't know, just very close-minded thinking of like, if a deck is the best deck, that doesn't mean it's unbeatable. That's where like bans come in.
Right. That's why Hiram just got banned, because
the
deck wasn't unbeatable, but its win rate was its win rate was actually unbelievable, and its entry fee or its entry in tournament data was unbelievable. That was the one thing that Steve had said multiple times, was that once you get into a world where 50% of your tournaments are something, that is a problem. And that is exactly what that was. And it's not to say that like it wasn't unbeatable. Like, sure, there were definitely tournaments that it didn't win, but the majority of the large scale tournaments were won by Ruby Sapphire or Sapphire Steel. Like, there's not a whole lot to talk about outside of those decks in the last few weeks. So that's what gives you the most interesting thing here, is that now that you hit them in enough ways, we finally have the ability to have a conversation about what is the best deck. Like maybe it is Emerald Steel, maybe it is Amber Steel, like maybe it is still Ruby Sapphire, but at least we can have a conversation about it. Before we couldn't. It really wasn't anything.
Someone
Blue
said
Green Items is not the best deck, and here's why. Look at your deck and tell me how you banish Diablo, then come back. I played it for 2 days last week. All right. I played it for 2 days. It was awesome against Sapphire Steel. Or I'm sorry, it was awesome against Ruby Sapphire. Got crushed by Sapphire Steel. And then shout out to Nate, who's been hanging out with us tonight. He was like, hey, how do you banish Diablo? And the answer was, you don't.
Someone said what about the extra Diablos green purple gives you? Like the best Diablo decks protect your Diablo,
and that deck doesn't.
And that deck doesn't do that well at all. Like even all the discard cards are your opponent picks, aside from Bruno, but like what's it called? If you watch Nunez his finals match, like his opponent went Shift Diablo, Ursula, Sing Bare Necessities.
Yeah.
The steel decks go Shift Diablo, banish your Diablo, or your anything with evasive. So I don't understand the green purple Diablo deck at all. Just from looking at it, I'm like, if people have fun playing this, that's great, but I'm not going to. And even some people made top 16 with it at SSG. I still just can't accept that this is a deck that I think will give you a better shot of winning the tournament. Me and Nunez also had this conversation where I was like, what deck beats the Sapphire decks right now and wins the tournament?
Yeah.
Like, you can go into a tournament and be like, I'm going to top 8 because I'm going to get paired into Sapphire a lot.
Oh, we summoned him. He's here.
Even the green purple American Master is here. And even he I can't say Master because there's artifacts and
that's true. The American Master. Okay, I got you. Yeah. I think it was very well positioned in a format with Hiram, ironically.
Yeah.
But in a format where like you're not even the best Diablo deck, it's just like I don't know.
With a lot more Diablo and Steel being able to be played. Like, I don't know how you beat Amber Steel. Like, there was no Amber Steel.
Well, you beat Amber Steel just because because that deck, that version doesn't even have the bounce stuff, right? Like, they cut all that stuff. So you don't even have like the repeating Ursulas.
Yeah, I don't know the exact deck list, but I don't know. Like, if you just play Aerial and find a removal spell, your opponent can't discard that from your hand because you did it that turn. Yeah. But I do think that it looks like a really fun deck, and I think it could easily crush set champs.
Yeah, I definitely think it's if you're just up to spiking and playing different decks, I think it's a fine deck that's new enough. First of all, anything that's playing a dueling card that is actually impactful to the metagame it does get a plus for me because I hope that more of those cards are playable. I don't really see it, but I hope that it's true. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's where I'm at.
I'm constantly put in check by my locals, and rightfully so, when they say like we're not preparing for DLC. But in my head, I'm always like, man, if this was DLC, I wouldn't play this deck.
All right, I think that's a good topic, right? Because it's so funny when you make these comments, but like the real truth is that depending on what your goal is, right? And everyone has different goals of different things. But if your goal is to win a Disney Lorcana challenge this year, then every single tournament you play in should be with that mindset.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be no days off. Like, there's not a day off because it's a set champs. There's not a day off because it's a 1K. Like, if your goal is to literally say that I'm going to put myself in the best position to qualify for Continentals next year, then it shouldn't be like, oh, it's set champs. Like, no, like go into set champs and saying, I'm going to go undefeated today. I'm not going to drop a game. That's the attitude that you need to have. Like, I know it's a tough mindset. I know not everybody has that mindset, but that's like the honest truth. If like, don't take a day off because it's set champs. Like, go win set champs. Go win 8 of those playmats. Like there ain't 16 of them anymore to be won. There's only 8. And unless somehow you're double dipping on a Saturday and you get away with it. I don't know how it's possible, but like, if that's the goal, then don't make the comment of like, oh, it's not a DLC. Who cares? Like, play the best deck because it's the best deck, or play the deck that you're best with because you want to get the most reps in it. The one thing I'll give credit to is like Kendall and Ed, right? Like, they played Ruby Amethyst in every DLC. They day 2'd multiples. Ed won a DLC with it. Ed won Continentals with it. Like, Want to know why? Because no one played more games with Ruby Amethyst than they did. And that's exactly how they attacked that season. And they were able to get away with it because Ruby Amethyst remained good for that period. And even then, Ruby Amethyst wasn't even the best deck, theoretically, at Continentals. It just had the best run. Like its top 16 bracket was phenomenal. And the same thing can be said about EUCC, but most players in the game didn't believe it. They were like, no, this isn't the deck for me. There's better decks. There's other decks that do more powerful things. But the player playing that deck for, literally basically a year said, this is the best deck for me, and it paid off for him. But that can be true for any deck, in all honesty. In any one of these decks, it can be true. Like if this is a deck that you just want to focus on and it doesn't hit a ban like Hiram, even though we both agree that Hiram was just a problem and the deck is still good, you can do that with pretty much any of these tier A, like A tier, B tier decks. I think that, listen, Purple Mufasa, won a DLC, guys. Like it's not about that at all. So
that's a great example of earlier, because I don't know how many times I played against people playing that deck at set champs, maybe 4. And I'm usually on Amber Steel, and it's just a buy.
Yeah.
Like they just have nothing that they can do. They can play 1 card a turn, and I'm wheeling and playing my hand every turn.
Yeah.
But in a tournament, any deck can win, especially if you're more prepared than your opponent.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that I don't know. That's the best part about the bans. The best part about the bans is that we can actually have a conversation. It's not like, oh yeah, it's Ruby Sapphire. Like we have a conversation now, which is the best part. I think that the idea that we can have all of a sudden have 5 decks in A tier, maybe more, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just everything is B, right? Like, and nothing is A. And that's like also possible. As long as there is not an actual S tier deck that makes everyone feel awful when you play against it, I think that we are in a pretty healthy metagame. In any world where I can go every weekend to set championships and not feel obligated to play the same thing if I didn't want to, like if my goal, normally most times, like my goal as a content creator is to play as many different decks as possible so I feel better educated on them. Because like I learn more just by doing. Like that's just how I can watch all the content in the world and I can watch all the gameplay in all the world and I can make my own theories, know my own predictions. But putting the deck on the table and playing games with it is the best way for me to learn. So then I can give my best opinion of something. So that's why like I will go to these things and play different decks. But, if you told me that there was a last chance qualifier for Worlds and I had to lock in today, I would. Like there wouldn't be any, like, no, nothing else would matter. It's like, well, getting a Worlds invite is more important than anything at this point. So it's like, that's what you lock in for. And that's exactly what I did for last chance qualifier. I played more in December and January than I did like in October and September, because I was locked in on one deck and I was like, this is all my focus is going to go towards this one deck and we're going to shoot for the stars. Did it work out? No, it didn't. But at least I can say, hey, I gave myself the best chance.
It's a great point. When your opponent has no idea what's happening, it's really easy to win half the games, which is a lot in best of 2.
Yeah, and in all honesty, not even that. Like you might do something in game 1 and they still might not have a damn clue what to do in game 2. But yeah, going second game 1, stealing it. No, there's no better feeling than that. That's for sure. What do you got going on this weekend, Dick?
I think I have a tournament to go to. I don't know.
Okay.
At least now, I have no idea what to play. I was just going to play Ruby Sapphire for the next month and never even look at another deck. But yeah, I have to figure out tomorrow, A, if I'm going to some enchanted tournament Saturday, and B, if what deck to even play, which is interesting. I didn't think I'd be in this predicament, and I am glad I am.
Very fair.
The other option was way worse.
Yeah, I agree. For us, we will be streaming on Saturday morning. Stream will probably start around, hopefully if everything gets set up and going. Stream will be on around 11:45. And we'll have some friends. We got, like I said, we got JDZ Quest coming out. We got Gabe from the Illuminati and Southside Gaming. He's the voice of SSG. We got the Color Slaw. She's going to come and hang out with us. We got John, Sisu, who's been hanging out with us in chat all night. It's going to be a fun tournament. For us, first weekend post-ban. So a lot less Ruby Sapphire, a lot less Sapphire Steel registrations, my guess. A lot more other stuff, which I think it makes it the most fun. We're going to have a bunch of different things on the stream. Sorry. 6 rounds, cut to a top 8, and we're playing for an Elsa, so there's no splits. We don't rip Elsas in half, guys. So we're gonna be playing the whole day. So a solid 9 rounds at least on stream. It should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. Huge shout out to everyone that is joining me that's on this list. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys for the day, letting you guys call the show, because I'm gonna be too busy probably making judge rulings for cards that I don't know the answer to. It happens. It'd be like that sometimes. But that'll be us. So that'll be, like I said, Saturday around 12 p.m. EST. We're going to be hanging out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget to sleeve your cards, Dick. It's important.
Apparently. Just learned that.
So, but yeah. Thanks, everyone, for chat. You guys were awesome. You guys were super great tonight. Super active with us and having a good time. Shout out to everyone that came in from the rave with JDZ on Twitch. You guys were wonderful. Thank you guys for joining us as well. And I think that's going to be it for us tonight. It's been fun. We're back. Hopefully we're more on the schedule again now that there's less traveling going on. But, thank you so much for joining me tonight, Dick. Shout out to Mo. Mo came on and joined us, and he got some little insight from one of a world's qualified players. So that's always a nice time when we can bring those guys on, not to mention first time on the channel. So that was great to see as well. And, yeah, we'll see you guys this weekend. Thanks again so much, and we'll catch you next time. See you guys. Oh, I'm gonna raid. We're gonna raid. Oh. We remembered. Look at that. We almost messed up, guys. We almost did it. We almost messed up. Who do we got? What do we got? BS cooking. All right, we're sending it. Here it is. Boom. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad I remembered to raid. Shout out to everyone on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out. If you're on Twitch, go have some fun. Watch some more games. Looking like some Pixelborn Connect going on. Boom. Adios, guys. See you later. For real this time.